with the developments that have taken place in Sri Lanka and are constantly getting new visuals, and each visual is more alarming in terms of the scope of this crisis than before. These are visuals right now of the roads chock-a-block full as people make their way towards the Gale face, where in Colombo, at Colombo Fort, the President's Secretariat and residence is located. We have seen visuals earlier of how the protesters stormed the residence of Gotabaya Rajapaksa. And here in these visuals before you, we appear to be seeing two things. One is the atrocious lines in front of the petrol pump, and also the roads absolutely full. We had just been hearing from our reporters on the ground in Sri Lanka how people have stood in line for days on end to access fuel, and also food is in short supply. And these are visuals that confirm at least the former, which is that Sri Lanka is suffering a unprecedented fuel crisis. It's suffering a number of unprecedented crises, the economic crisis, the political crisis. But one aspect of this is the shortage of fuel, the skyrocketing of fuel prices in this regard. Sri Lanka is an importer of petrol and petroleum products, and it essentially relies on credit lines which it is unable to repay because of its economic crisis. At this time, a country that has been helping Sri Lanka manage things has been India. A number of tankerfuls of fuel have been sent, oftentimes with scant assurance of credit supplies, but it is an issue that is aggravating further with no solution in sight. And you can see how, as the economic crisis has continued, as people continue to line up for fuel, the political crisis is also very much still on hand. And as a part of this, we have seen how the president has had to flee and how the protesters have stormed his residence. Lahiru continues to report with us from Colombo. Now, Lahiru, what is, in your view, you were telling us earlier, the set of options that Ranil Wickremesinghe has. How is Ranil Wickremesinghe perceived right now? He was brought in as a compromise candidate for Prime Minister with the public, but does he have the public support? Does he have the ability to handle the situation?
Well, that remains questionable because Ranil Wickremesinghe did lose his seat in the parliament. He came to the parliament as a nationalist MP, which means he came as a bonus seat to the parliament. There's only one seat for his party remaining in the parliament, and the public support for him is very much questionable. And people might be furious if a person with 0 votes becomes Sri Lanka's next president during this crisis.
Right. So that is a answer there from Lahiru that tells us that there are question marks also over whether Ranil Wickremesinghe can help tide over this crisis. But there surely must be some form of resolution that there needs to be a way out of this political crisis. It's been building up for so long. Why has it escalated to such a situation today, Lahiru? Why has today been chosen for the day that they lay siege and then storm the presidential residence? Was there no prior intimation of this? Was there some kind of mass call that was issued? How did this happen today?
This protest movement and the storming of the presidential palace was independently organized by many protest groups, and it is very most likely that no opposition parties were involved, no political parties were involved. This is a civil uprising that was organized from the ground level by individual people. And as of now, we got to know that the opposition the opposition leader and other opposition parties have said they will not be taking part in the meeting that is being chaired by the Prime Minister to decide what is going to be done after the president leaves.
All right, that is a key update, that essentially the opposition has washed its hands of not only this protest but also attempts by the Wickremesinghe-led government to resolve this crisis that is on hand. If you can